Welcome back to another episode of Talking with My Mouth Full. I'm your host, Rahul Akerkar, and today we're talking about an ode to artists. We have a fantastic duo joining us today. Why have one when you can get two, right? We have the vivacious, fabulous Vidya Balan along with the multi-talented Atul Kasbekar. They're going to talk about their stories with food, and how it's impacted their lives and how it's made changes. Food is an amazing trigger of memories. And in this episode, we're going to go down memory lane with Vidya Balan and Atul Kasbekar and talk about how food influenced their lives and how it impacted or affected their lives and the stories that connected them to everything that they do. So grab a seat. Let's dig in. So, as usual, I'm talking with my mouth full. I'm sitting here with vivacious Vidya Balan and the Hulk, Tuli Kasbekar.
Did you say Hulk or hunk?
Hulk, whatever.
Just checking.
Anyway, and nothing. We're just going to have a little banter about food. And hopefully we won't have a food fight or something. We'll have a little chat.
And you've promised us great food.
I don't see.
At the end of this.
Oh, at the end of this. I'm looking around.
That will come
eventually.
All in good time. But I just wanted to say that the reason I've asked you both here today, one is I'm going to start with Vidya and say that you've like gone through a bunch of transitions in your life, right? And you're constantly in a way re-engineering yourself. And I find that whole process fascinating because I'm kind of going through the same thing myself right now. And for you, Atul, our careers, I think, started roughly around the same time.
Pretty much exact.
And I remember back in the early 90s doing a food shoot with you when you were doing, I think it was a food shoot for the Oberoi Hotel and for their new restaurants and such. And then after that, you went on from photography, Bling, your talent management company, and now you're doing movies. So there's been this constant evolution with you guys. And for me, starting a company, losing the company, now with my new gig with the Aditya Birla Group, it's a question of we always sort of talk about relevance and we talk about reinventing yourselves. Vidya, you've had stuff happen around food, right? And just sort of wanted to get a sense of how that's impacted your life in a way.
I think my relationship with food has definitely improved over the years. I'm in a very happy place vis-a-vis food now because I used to eat with a lot of guilt before.
Yeah, I remember seeing listening to an episode of yours where you said you've had a tumultuous history with food in your career or in your life.
In my life, actually.
And it kind of made me think about, I've never felt that.
It's because I thought I was battling my body, and in that I thought food was my enemy. Because I was unable to shed weight, no matter how much I exercised or no matter what I did. So I thought how much ever I ate, and I'm not a big eater, I probably eat more now than I ever have in my life, and very happily at that. But, with the littlest of food, I would feel like I was expanding. I think which is what I meant when I said I had a very tumultuous relationship with food because I was so scared of food. But you need food. And then there are times when when you're going through an emotional time, then food is I've also grown up in a family where food was the answer to everything, So I think, I saw food as my enemy and now I don't anymore. And which is also the reason I think I'm healthier and happier.
How do you think food fits into all this, or does it?
So there was a time when I had this legendary appetite and people would be scared if I happened to stay and they said, would you like to stay for dinner? And then,
I remember those days.
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah. So Vandana's mother would go completely nuts at her saying, warn me in advance so we can make 16 more chapatis or whatever it was, right? But I think what's happened now is like over the last many years and after having tasted enough food all over the world with a certain amount of greed, Okay, the greed has gone out the window.
Sure.
Like long gone out the window. So now, as the Marathi saying goes, "Khaintar tupashi, naitar upashi." Okay, so translated for those who do not know Marathi, it's kind of, loosely applied to this would be it's either the best or nothing.
Yeah.
So I've extended that especially to indulgent food. So if you're having that gajar halwa and it's incredible, then have it.
Then go for it. Otherwise,
Why would you have a stupid cola with a zillion calories which does absolutely nothing to you? Yeah, and then pass it on to.
What do you guys look for when you go out to eat?
I'm someone who didn't grow up eating out at all. So we would go to a restaurant maybe as a family once, twice, maybe 4 times a year at the max. So we were just not used to eating out. So when I met Siddharth, and he's an absolute foodie, firstly, I got exposed to all kinds of food. And then it was like, I was trying to figure what I like, what I don't like. So I went through a period of discovery. For me, the most important criterion when I'm ordering something is it going to be light?
Okay.
I don't like anything that sits heavy in my stomach.
Do you think food needs to take you somewhere when you eat, or is it just sustenance?
I used to think of it as sustenance because of my relationship with food. I just needed to eat because I needed to live. But now I enjoy food. Whatever it is, even if it's a kachumbar at home, I relish it.
Sure.
But I like simple food. I like the flavors to really get me. And also, I grew up eating tambram food, most of which is steamed. And we barely use any oil, maybe at the max for tadka. So I've actually grown up on very light food. And in between, I'd begun to eat everything, right? I was just exploring everything. There was excitement. But now I know exactly what I want. And I'm off gluten. So that's the other thing when I'm ordering. I have to make sure that, and it's a choice. It's
a gluten-free diet.
It's actually stay off gluten and you'll be gluten-free.
Be gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
Yeah, there's a t-shirt poster design somewhere there.
Oh, really? Yeah. Of course. Bhasad.
Whoever uses that, send me royalty.
I wrestle as a chef, and now I've been
you
doing
look
this.
like it.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing this for a while, right? And it's, do I cook for myself, or do I cook for what people want to eat, right? And there's constantly that question. At the end of the day, it is a business. You have to be able to earn off it. You're not, doing it for love and fresh air. But at the same time, where do you kind of drop a line between creativity, if you will, and or your whims of fancy food-wise, or doing food that is relatable?
I think what's happened across the world now is that the world of food has just, it was always art, but now it's a proper art form everywhere.
Sure.
From presentation to whatever. So for me, that whole process is fascinating to see who's pushing what boundaries and so on. But now, my son's roommate in LA, he's from Shillong, and his aunt makes a beef pickle, which is incredible.
Sure.
Like unbelievable. I hadn't tasted it. And he had got 2 bottles to take back to LA. He was staying at our house for 2 days en route, and he happened to open one. I said, that's it.
That's staying here.
That's staying here, buddy. Yeah. And then I've ordered a dozen from the aunt who's going to now ship them here, and she does it for orders and stuff.
Fantastic. I'll take one.
I will send you one for sure. Yeah. So it's always a quest. It's always a quest to see what's new, what's different, what hits your palate in a different way. And so it's a journey. I think amongst the memorable meals one has had was Ram Madhwani's close friends with Gagan Anand. And we'd been to his tasting menu twice, in Bangkok, the original Gagan's.
Yeah.
Outrageously good.
Yeah.
And he was really pushing the envelope on a whole bunch of stuff, But some of it was the chicken curry or the mutton curry my dad used to make once in a while when he was in the mood on Sundays.
Right.
And then whatever was left over was taken in a tiffin. So it was served to you in a small tiffin. A little story, but delicious food. So...
But I think I was in Japan, I think before the pandemic, and every meal I had there was exceptional.
Yeah.
Because I just think what they managed to do is at the fanciest of places, they retain that authenticity. There's
it's also the way they approach doing anything.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
It's you just become expert at doing that one thing really well, right?
Yeah,
it's over and over. And I mean, their whole their whole joy of life, of living, comes from following that practice. And I
True.
think you don't see it more than you do with their food.
Right. No, because I'm saying even like even if you walked into what are those called? Those noodle parlors in a mall.
Ramen. Also.
Even they'd have the basic standard was just phenomenal. And for a vegetarian, I think it was just fantastic because it wasn't like I didn't feel the dearth of options, and every meal was tasty, and I kept thinking of the same thing. I think this is a quandary that all of us face, even in the film business. It's like, what do you do? Do you cater to people's tastes?
Right.
Or do you do what you want to do?
Right.
But I think the answer lies somewhere in between, because I think it's only when, I'm sure you know this better than anyone else, that only when it comes from you will it actually touch other people, because food is so much to do with how...
Yes. But I mean, I think there are also chefs who, in these big flights of fancy, and their sort of conceited views on food, and no, I'm sorry, you can't add ketchup to my food, or you can't do this to my food.
Oh, like Tabasco with Italian.
That's
I need
bullshit.
Tabasco, for
Fair
God's sake.
Yeah.
I can eat Tabasco with plain rice, and I don't understand when people tell me, no, we don't keep Tabasco. And I'm like, one diet snap.
Oh, wait, in that case.
Yeah.
Tell me, in terms of cuisines, is there one cuisine that's like your go-to cuisine?
Italian.
Yeah.
For me, it is. If it's a reward meal, it has to be Italian. It has to be pasta.
But pasta, why is that a reward meal? Because of carbs?
Yeah, because I actually have an aglio olio, so it's not really, but I use some Parmesan on top of that because I love Parmesan
So
cheese.
good.
No, but my pasta is gluten-free.
I'm sorry, I'd draw the line there. Why bother? That's terrible.
No, but I have to tell you that I have a great chef at home. And she's now figured it out. But I also enjoy risotto.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
But that's
And with
your
good
that's
mushroom.
your
That's again...
Tambram side, though.
yeah,
Rice.
the rice.
Right.
Rice any day you give
There
it to
you
me.
go.
For me, it's Thai.
For you,
Oh.
Thai?
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
I think it's a nice melange of Chinese and Indian, kind of. It's
Because of what? Because of
spicier,
the
and then
curries and stuff?
I mean, I kind of really enjoy Thai food. If you're asking about comfort food, but can't go wrong with fried fish, prawn curry,
Yeah, for
rice,
sure.
and those mirchis, etc.
Your husband and I have something in common.
Really?
We are both Hindus.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mom's Jewish. It makes you Jewish.
Yeah.
Father's Hindu.
Yeah,
Hindu,
yeah,
so
exactly.
Hindu.
Yeah, so he calls himself Panju because his
Panju,
father
okay,
is
chalo.
Punjabi. He's
So-
Jewish, his mother's Jewish.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that about
Yeah.
you. Oh my God. Okay.
So your favorite restaurant here, Bombay?
I think there's a bunch of them, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, I will never go to a multi-cuisine specialty restaurant.
We serve everything Chinese, tandoori, whatever.
Yeah. Hideous. I can't understand what kind of idiot would go to, let's say, a Jafar Bhai and look at their Chinese menu.
Right.
That's just not on. So, I mean, not in any order. I think Izumi is lovely for Japanese.
Yeah.
Then I discovered this little cafe, Mommy June, for Iranian food whenever I need an Iranian fix. Then the President is still the best for
Thai.
the Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Thai
become
Pavilion.
ludicrously overpriced now
Is it
compared
really?
to what it was. Yeah, I mean, but
Thai Pavilion,
but
huh?
it's still the best, I think. Then O Pedro is a masterful restaurant. I love it because that's my roots now. So
Sure.
go on Portuguese kind of thing, and they keep experimenting. Bombay Canteen is great fun. Yeah, I mean, we end up usually doing this little circle. I like some of Zoravar's places.
Mhm.
The one at BKC, which has that tasting menu.
Masala Library.
Masala
Masala
Library. Very good.
Library,
I've
yeah.
had exceptional meals there thrice now. So that's a
Great.
lot, I think, pretty much.
You eat out a lot?
How can I forget?
No, not that
Thakkar
much.
Bhojnalay.
Yeah.
Shri Thakkar
That's my
Bhojnalay in
favorite
I've
Kalba
never
Devi.
been there.
Oh,
You
you
have
know,
never been?
I have
No.
to take you
My
there.
Yeah.
God.
And I have to tell you,
It's my
Akerkar.
favorite
The thought
restaurant.
of a thali scares me.
No.
So
No,
much
no.
food.
And
You
and
eat
one
what
second,
you want.
you're looking at one of the very, very few people, okay, in this city who can actually get a reservation there.
Mm. I know you've told me that
Yeah.
before.
Are you a street food eater?
Not at all.
Really?
I'm very particular about cleanliness. So I...
I have a weakness.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Bhajia pav and vada pav,
Oh, wow.
which is not helping this at all. How
No.
about you?
I love street food.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I think that's
And I think the Ashok Vada Pav at Kirti College still does it.
kills it.
But I have to tell
Very
you, there's
good,
a guy
very
in
good.
Chembur. So growing up, I used to have vada pav. Now, of course, I'm off aloo and bread and all of that. But growing up, that vada pav wala in Chembur post office, na? And he used to do a moong dal bhajia also, which was great.
Oh, nice. That's
Then a samosa pav, that samosa had all the oil in the world in that one samosa.
It helps
But
it slide down easier,
Yeah,
huh?
and so tasty. But I can't dream of having it now. But that's the only street food I've had in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think sort of makes food comforting?
Think what you've grown up with?
I think it's there's usually a memory trigger. I think. with
Yeah,
some stuff.
I think it's one of the most amazing triggers of memory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taste
Yeah.
and smell.
Yeah.
Memorable meals for you?
Where? Asking?
Anywhere.
Oh,
Right, anywhere.
lots. I mean,
Crazy times over meals? Food fights? No.
No food fights. But wow.
What do you think?
We did a vertical tasting paired Chateau Latour at the erstwhile Indigo.
Yeah?
That has to be amongst my top 10 meals of all time.
Wow.
I think our biryani meal was pretty good too.
Yeah,
on
one
Sunday.
second. We did.
We
This is
did.
You
absolutely
told me about that
spectacular.
biryani
We
meal.
did,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did.
Yeah.
We had to lay to rest once and for all what was the best biryani. Firstly, it could only be mutton,
Right.
so there was
There's no
veg-
such thing as a chicken biryani. I will
There's
tell
no
everybody,
chicken,
it's
no
a pulao.
vegetables.
It's a pulao if it's chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, do not use the word biryani unless it's mutton.
Yeah, so we did that. It was a really amazing Sunday blowout brunch at Neil.
The RSVPs we got from literally the who's who of Mumbai was the fastest ever. So basically, he had this young chef called Mukhtar Qureshi.
I remember.
Yeah.
So we sent him out
He
to.
called me. I said, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And Siddharth wasn't in town.
So he went and checked out like recipes from all over. I don't know what he had to do to which old Dowager Empress somewhere to get some of those Khandani recipes out. But there was a Kashmiri biryani. There was Rampuri, which was apparently Calcutta, Lucknow, Hyderabad, and Kerala. So 6. And interestingly, for example, each one had a nice story about it. So the Rampur one is basically the origin kind of the keema biryani because they, it was kind of done by the poorer people who couldn't buy the great cuts of meat. So the keema biryani, so to speak, came out of there. Calcutta is the one that originally uses potato. The ones in...
Which is the one that won, didn't it?
Yeah, that was everybody's it was the winner. So
The winner, yeah.
Then the one in Kerala had slivers of coconut and pineapple also worked in. The one from Kashmir had zaitun, olives.
Yeah.
And legend has it that the olive trees planted were
From Alexander's time.
Really?
Yeah. There's
So-
there's a lot of, I don't know, but there is Kashmiri food that uses olives.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
pretty interesting.
instead of a mirchi ka salan that you get in Hyderabad and so on,
Yeah, I know.
he did a seb ka salan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he used Kashmiri apples and a seb ka
It's
salan.
delicious.
Now, outrageous. And there were just little portions. There were no starters. Okay, please wear loose clothes. And people ate for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. And drank.
Only beer.
Only beer.
There's no
Wow.
point getting gin and tonic with this now. Come on, so.
That was a fun after. I think your 40th birthday was pretty fun too.
That was quite epic. It was easier to go to Goa and just pay for everything. So I told everyone, getting there is your problem. After that, it's on me. 4 days, 3 nights. It was the most ludicrously great time we've had. Everybody knew everybody.
Insane.
It was fantastic. And
I cooked on his birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So one billionaire friend of mine offered me his insane house, and no prizes for guessing who that is. And in all seriousness, this is a true story. Okay, so so I called up. So
He happened to be in San Francisco.
correct. So I call up Vijay Mallya and I tell him that, listen, I'm having this birthday thing, and I'd like you to be there, and I'd like you to be there if you'd like to be there. Who's coming? I said, don't ask me for the guest list. You know exactly 2 people from that whole lot. The others are very old friends of mine. There's Rahul Akerkar and there's Rahul Bose. Okay, that's the only 2 you'll know. So he goes, okay, we're doing the dinner at my house. We'll do one dinner at my house on your birthday. So whatever. So I said, okay, fine. He says, connect Rahul. Get him on a con call now. Now, I've got no prior warning time on this, right? So I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, so one sec. So I said, okay, hold on a second. So I called Rahul and I tell him, don't say anything stupid. I'm just going to patch you in onto a call with Vijay. And Vijay is in San Francisco. Okay, now It's
The minute he tells me San Francisco,
yeah.
I'm
So
like, oh, wait a
he gets on
minute.
the line
You
and
think
says,
you
"Okay,
can bring-
Rahul, listen, we've decided we're doing the party at my house. So at Kingfisher Villa, whatever. So you cook, and I'll tell the Taj to send whatever food and so so I'm like, okay. So Rahul says, "You're in San Francisco. That's amazing. Do you have a pen?" You couldn't make this shit up. So I said, "Do you have a pen?" I'm like, no. He's not saying this. So he's got, okay, you know what? I have this butcher at the corner of this place and that place. So
Really
just
went
go
there.
there.
Really?
Yeah,
You got-
and ask for Luigi or whatever nonsense. And, and I would like you to bring back pork chops. Make sure that the fat is so much and make sure. And,
got
and
back
then if
steaks,
you got
pork
the
chops.
best steaks, pork chops. And
we had big portobello
Wow.
mushrooms. In those days, you didn't get these
correct,
things.
portobello mushrooms, whatever. And whatever. And
T-bones,
great, super, whatever. And
tomahawks.
now Vijay Mallya, Lord of Oli surveyed then was taking copious notes because Akerkar is telling him what to buy, from some butcher shop.
Now that's a food story.
That's a food story. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Cut to at the we're at his house now. Okay. So we were staying in a hotel, and then for the day we spent the house at his house, and he shows up with one retinue of people carrying these ludicrously large thermocol boxes. So this guy's in the kitchen slaving away, cooking the rest of the meal with the Taj crew and so on. And he says, "Rahul," and he says, "Ye box kholo. Wo nikalo," and then he shows him the pork chops. So pork chops are displayed. And then steak nikalo, and it says steak and mushroom. So Rahul, in all this sweat, he's like wiping his brow and stuff like that. He looks at it, examines it, he says, "That's great. You're hired."
There's like pin drop silence, with his retinue.
Well, luckily, he had a great sense. He has a great sense of humor, so he just cracked up laughing.
Yeah, he
But
cracked up.
I want to ask you, what is your favoritist meal been?
My favoritist meal?
Or what is your go-to meal? There are two different questions, but you can take them off.
Well, I like food, period. I would say anytime chaat.
Yeah?
Yeah, chaat. I love sushi. If you can combine the two, I don't know how.
God, stop it, please.
No, I'm not kidding. But no, chaat. I just love chaat. I love that whole Ambert gourd kind of
Yeah.
flavor profile, and I love the sort of cleanness, if you will, of sushi and the freshness of it.
Actually, tell me something. No one I've met has ever said, "My mother is not a good cook."
Mine was not a good cook.
Okay, there's
But
the first.
but maybe because it's the first food we taste.
She was
I
a
think
great
we're on-
leftovers cooker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so amazing, right? You just feel like your mother's a good cook. Like, I don't know. There are things that I would only eat if my mother made.
So my aji was that to me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my dad's mother. And I mean, being the only grandson and the first grandchild and whatever, she'd go out of her way to cook for me. They first lived in Nasik, and then eventually they moved here to Bombay, and every Sunday lunch was at their house. And she'd call me on Thursday and say, "What do you want to eat?"
Oh, my God.
And it would start
Outstanding.
then. I mean, she made everything.
I was just going to say that sounded exactly like my mom-in-law.
Yeah.
So when I first met Siddharth, we would do these Sunday lunches at his place. It's a tradition. They do Sunday lunches are always family lunches. Like that's the case to date. And on Thursday, without fail, my would-be mother-in-law, and then of course my mother-in-law, would call me and say, "So what will you eat?" And I'd be like, I've
That's
never
such a
known.
Jewish thing.
Yeah, I would never know what to say. I'd be like, whatever you, and then she'd give me options, and then I'd pick, and then. But it's so amazing,
That's such a Jewish thing.
to say, to plan food and.
Food and guilt are the two very Jewish things, right?
My mom is a damn good cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will vouch for that.
Yeah, she is.
I'll vouch
Oh,
for
wow.
that.
I mean, the Karwari stuff
Yeah.
and classic Goan Karwari stuff, she's very, very good.
I don't think
She
my
makes
mom.
the world's best tisriya.
For
What is
sure.
tisriya?
Clams.
Clams.
Oh,
It's shocking. I mean, it's
Wow.
just unbelievable. I'm salivating. But and then when we make them, it's a mountain of them, and there's very little else because you can just go ting ting, and then some refuse plates to chuck the empty this thing, and you
The shells just pile up in the
Yeah.
middle.
my God.
just unbelievable.
I don't think my mom is like a fantastic cook, but for me, she's like the onion sambar that she makes. For me, is unparalleled. I feel like
Uli thiel or something. What is
we-
it called? That little button curry?
yeah, we
button
call it
onion?
vengaya sambar.
Okay.
Vengayam is onion.
Oh.
The chota onion.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Yeah. So I just think it's my mouth is watering.
Love it.
And as a
I
kid,
love
that
it.
would go with aloo ki sabzi, simple.
Yeah.
And we would call it podimas. Podimas is when you mash the
that onion
aloo
together.
and then it would have some haldi and namak.
How
and
funny. My mother calls mashed potatoes mashy pods.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she calls them mashy pods. So it sounds almost the same. So I don't know if you know, but I'm starting a new restaurant now. We're like almost there, ready to get going.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Ode.
Ode. I love ODE.
ODE.
What a lovely name. Ode to food.
You know,
Ode to
all the
food,
locals
ode
are
to
going to call it
joy.
Ode, na?
Ode.
Yeah. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. It's like those guys who named that
It'll-
biscuit Petit Beurre.
ये
It'll-
ये
Who was gonna
खाना
say petit beurre?
ये खाना खा के आप उड़े.
Ode.
Ode.
As long as they don't go ODD.
D, yeah.
Odd. No, but it's really excited about the project.
I'm
So,
always excited about your food, and I'm warning you now because since you called me for every single tasting.
You have to come for this one too.
Thank you. Yeah, every
Yeah.
single tasting menu.
I'm
at
inviting
Indigo,
myself to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Done. Deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll send you the 27 things that she cannot have. So you
29, by the
29,
way.
okay.
And I will send her an Uber connection. It's like, what should I get? A taxi. Go home. Don't eat if that's what you want to eat. You have so many restrictions.
Oh my
No,
God.
but it'll be good. It's in Worli, near the TV tower. So it's at
And
the
what's the
cuisine.
cuisine?
It's like an extension of what I was doing at Qualia. So it's very ingredient driven.
Mm-hmm.
All plates roughly about the same size.
Mm-hmm.
And I've played with a little bit of whether I sort of Indianize a little bit Western or Westernize Indian a little bit. So I've been playing with that. And that's it. We have a nice cocktail program.
Nice. The
Wines.
cocktails at Kuala were fantastic.
We
Very,
have,
very good.
it's actually a really nice space. We have a huge outdoor area.
Oh, nice.
So it's like equal indoor and outdoor.
So
It's-
barbecue and everything.
Yeah, we'll
Fantastic.
do it all. Again, I have an open kitchen, so we have a wood burning hearth and wood burning pizza oven and all that. So we'll have some fun.
So I have a question.
Hmm.
Would you trust an out of shape physical trainer, and just in the same way, would you trust a skinny
Skinny
chef?
chef.
Yeah. It's always
Ah.
bothered me. If my trainer is out of shape, I have a problem. So,
But maybe the chef just has great metabolism.
Or tapeworm.
Oh, yeah.
Stop
Hope
it.
not. Now you've killed it. But all the best with Ode.
Thank you so much.
We
Ode,
hope to
Ode.
come there and pay an ode to you,
You
and the
will.
food.
You will. You guys will come for sure.
I'm definitely not a writer. I don't know what to say beyond that.
Yeah, great. I look forward. That wraps up our spicy episode with Vidya Balan and Atul Kasbekar as they shared some insights on how food impacted their lives. I'm Rahul Akerkar, talking with my mouth full. I'll see you in the next episode.
IVM